Hi everybody, today we are going to talk about what is insulin resistance. And I know I've been throwing that term out there, but today we're going to review what it is. And my goal over the next couple of days is just to give you a really much better understanding of how your body works and why yours reacts differently to others. As others do, I should say. And understanding what I'm going to be discussing with you is absolutely crucial, though, to understanding, being able to understand your, control your weight for the rest of your life. This really is one of those things where knowledge is power. When you understand what you're doing and you're treating your body like a machine instead of just whatever, it's amazing how you can change it and make it work the way it's supposed to work. So I want to go over, like, what does insulin do? And we've already reviewed this a little bit, but you're really going to understand it by the time we're done, I hope. But first of all, insulin takes the blood sugars out of our blood and transports it to the cells and the muscles and the liver. Okay, it's the shuttler, and we absolutely need insulin. If we didn't have insulin, that's why type 1 diabetics, juvenile type of diabetics, if they don't have, their pancreas doesn't work and they don't have insulin, that's really, really, really bad, because that means none of their cells are getting fed. Okay, so insulin does help us feed our cells, and the cells and liver of the liver and the muscles and the fat cells, unfortunately. But so blood sugar turns into glucose, which feeds most of the cells. It also turns into glycogen for energy for the muscles and for the liver. So you got glucose and glycogen. When the muscles in the liver are all full, all their cells are full of all this glycogen and they don't need any more, then the liver actually transports it over to the fat cells. And so now, your muscles and liver can only hold so much glycogen. So if you've got it too full, now it's going to turn into fat. So what is insulin resistance? When your blood sugars are elevated for a prolonged period of time, actually, which is very typical in our American diet, because we're constantly elevating our blood sugars, then the pancreas constantly has to produce all this insulin. What happens actually is, after our blood sugars being out of control for so long, the cells do not even listen to the insulin, and insulin's knocking at the door of the cell, and their cell can't hear it. Cell's going, I don't know it. So then the pancreas says, well, I better shoot up more. So you get more and more insulin to do that small amount of work, and so eventually your body just becomes insulin resistant and won't take in the energy anymore. In about a week or so, I want you to remember this, because in about a week or so we're going to talk about why fat cells like to take the energy in, but the muscle cells don't, and how we get fat. It's just fascinating now that once you understand it. I think it's fascinating anyways. So, when you have chronically high insulin levels, as I mentioned before, the fat cannot burn. You can't burn the extra fat in your body because your insulin levels are high. Like I said before, when your insulin levels go up, you store fat, and you cannot even burn the fat you already have. You just get more fat, and you can't burn that more fat either. So of course, what does that leave you? It leaves you hungry, irritated. Now you need some more food. So it's kind of it's a very phenomenal thing to understand. And that the fact that you're going to be able to monitor this and actually control this is so powerful. I want you to know that. Because what happens, the funniest thing is, if you think about it, is insulin levels raise, and it actually causes your fat to be held hostage by the insulin levels, okay? And that's in essence what that means. So this can actually get so chronic that you don't even have to have elevated blood sugars for your pancreas to overproduce insulin. So this is something I hear all the time, including for myself. This was a story of my life. People say, I'm not even eating enough to gain weight, and you're gaining weight. That was my issue, is I wasn't even eating and I was gaining weight. And then the cravings would become so uncontrollable that I would just go on these uncontrollable binges, and the cycle would go round and round and round. And it's very, very scary, because what happens is, when too much insulin is produced, it cleans your clock. It takes all the blood sugars out of your system, doesn't feed it to the muscles, doesn't feed it to the liver, it just goes right into fat cells, and now you're hungry, you're tired, and you want to eat your arm off, or you're going to kill somebody for some carbs, right? So that's kind of the whole crazy thing, and it's a crazy cycle, but it's real. It's absolutely real. People's biggest concerns are, even when they start this weight loss program or for maintenance, is they're so concerned about their uncontrollable cravings. Because if you've had uncontrollable cravings, you know what I'm talking about, and it's actually a scary thing. And you wonder, man, why can't I get on top of it? But I got such good news for you. Once you got your blood sugar and insulin levels under control, all of that goes by the wayside, and you can't even believe you ever allowed your body to fall for these horrible cravings. But you did, because they're stronger than your mind. You cannot fight them if your blood sugars are under control. Tomorrow, though, I want to discuss the difference between insulin resistance, like we did today, and insulin sensitivity. Again, I want to just give you enough background here so that you can visualize and understand what's going on in your body, and then you can make the choices and understand how to control all of that. All right? I hope you guys are just having a great time losing your weight, and we look forward to talking to you tomorrow.